So basically the GM has to be, like you said, someone who has the coach's trust, where they take some of that stuff off the coach's plate of the coach tells them what to go get, as opposed to the GM who hires a coach that is going to work out the system that he likes the best.
Yeah, I think that's well said. And, I think that's why I think some of these marriages might not work out. I can certainly think of times I'm unfortunately a New York Jets fan, and there's been times where, both GM and head coach are reporting to the owner, and they're kind of put together as an awkward marriage. And sometimes it feels awkward. And, we see that the NBA level, the GM, I can think the Denver Nuggets, the GM wants Mike Malone to play certain players. Mike Malone doesn't want to play those players. They're not the ones that he wanted. And it can lead to these awkward power struggles. And so that's going to be, if the GM and head coach are at the same level, or basically if the GM is not having to report to the head coach, that'll be interesting. Again, Oklahoma seems like everything's working out really well right now, but maybe Jim likes guys different than what Venables wants. And that could be, a kind of a tricky thing to have to navigate. But if it's the traditional model of GM reports to head coach, traditional in terms of just at the college level, obviously not traditional at the pro level, that person's going to have to know what they want, and know how to execute it. But it's also, to your point, why some head coaches just are not hiring GMs. Kirby Smart doesn't want to do it. There's guys, Jed Fish, who has an NFL background. He hasn't done it. Talk to Shane Beamer, who kind of came through, some of that model of Kirby at Georgia. He's not hiring a GM because they're like, hey, the GM, how I know it at college, at the NFL level, I'm not going to empower a guy in my building to do that, because I feel like as the head coach, I still have to be very hands-on and still have to be the GM in many ways. So that, I think, limits some of maybe the power that a GM can have, certainly in some of those different buildings. But for the ones that want to do it, that head coach and GM, they've got to be on the same page, or you're going to see some big mistakes.
John, one more question.